today's curiosity, sponsored by Brasso. Well, actually, it's not sponsored by Brasso. It's just Brasso does clean it up a bit. Is something from pre-war. It's a pod construction. Some of you already know what it is, I expect. Those really sharp-eyed folk. I bought this because I just thought it was amazing that the effort people went to in the pre-war days to house even the most mundane of things. But labour was cheap, I suppose. So, you know, the amount of construction put into even everyday objects was greater in a way than it is now, even with modern machinery and robotics and everything else. And this is just a good example of, I suppose, just the amount of craftsmanship that went into things in those days. I'm not sure of the exact date, but certainly 30s, 20s, something like that, I'm guessing. Yeah, I thought it would be a bit of fun to show one of my curiosities that I keep on a shelf. Hopefully one day it will go in the boot of a vintage vehicle, but not quite yet. This is a lovely old contraption, and I will just give it a light brassoing, because it does look nice. I mean, it's got a bit of a gleam to it. It does really make a difference, Brasso. It's incredibly good stuff, and it's great fun, you know, taking a bit of old tarnished brass and turning it into something that looks not far off gold. I hate it when I'm in the pub, because I look at old brasses and I think, oh, they really could do with a clean. You know, I used to love polishing up bits of brass and things like that, and aluminium, but people don't do it so much these days. I suppose this is a bit of a pain, and it doesn't last very long, but you know, it really does come up pretty easily. So there you are. It is a spare bulb holder. Now, look at that. There's your bulbs in there. Bulbs are, you know, of the 1920s and 30s were enormous great things. Obviously, they're tiny little LED things now. Having to change the bulbs on my son's Golf recently, I got these tiny little things about the size of your little fingernail to replace the backlights. You compare it with these things. But there's the insides of it, and that would have been kept as your spare bulbs. Oh, okay, I'll obviously put that in there. Because there is another bulb, but I just wanted to keep it somewhere safe, because the gubbins is missing inside this side. So there you are. There's a spare bulb in there from a vintage car, but just to keep it wrapped up in a bit of tissue, because the insides were missing. But that is a Joseph Lucas Limited spare bulbs holder, made in good old Birmingham. Like a lot of things, a lot of great things were made in Birmingham, and of course Wolverhampton and the Black Country nearby. They're friendly neighbours, of course. So there you have it, a lovely old number 17C bulb holder from the 1930s. You see why I keep it on the shelf now. Just people are always a bit intrigued by it. As I was. I just can't believe the effort they put into things like that. I mean, how lovely getting out your vintage roller or whatever it would have been, Bentley or Alvis, you know, bulb's gone. You'd almost be pleased, wouldn't you? Oh, well, I've got to use my bulb holder. You know, they thought of everything and maintain things to last a lot longer than we do these days. Having just noticed my dishwasher's packed up, all of 3 years old. But there you are. Over for now.